And the old tramp hollered back and said, "You're a pretty man, you are, with a pair of eyes like two fried eggs and a nose like a Bartlett pear." Oh, well, yeah, I still don't know what a Hoosier picture is, but I think that's enough of that book for now. We need to go a little bit further in time. Let's go to the 1900s, where now a new craze is sweeping the whole world, really, and that is motion pictures, the new silent age of cinema that is appearing everywhere. So let's go ahead into the GenTen time machine. The GenTen time machine. That's all I had to do last time. Let's try something else. Plan B. Here we are in the 1900s. It's only been 10 years, but the world has changed so much. Cars are now becoming more common, although still incredibly expensive. Would you believe we had 3 options for fuel now? You had gas, electric, and even steam-powered cars. The Stanley Steamer was once more than just a carpet cleaner. It was once one of the greatest steam car manufacturers of its time. Only problem was the fact that you had to actually go light a fire under your car every time you wanted to go somewhere. Electric cars at the time had actually become popular by 1897 and found a place competing with gas cars for the next decade, but eventually they would fade away, as did steam, in favor for gas cars. Gas cars were finding a foothold as the decade went on, with over 100 manufacturers emerging. But we landed in 1908, and new to the world was the Ford Model T, something we could actually afford with the GenTen budget. So as we putter around, what's new in the world? Well, for one, those weird talking dolls have now become wax-cylinder phonograph players. We can now listen to some music practically anywhere. What's even better is these new disc-shaped phonographs. But that's new, and I think we need to give it a few years before we can find these cheap to bring back in the time machine. But finally, here we are. We found ourselves a movie theater where we can see some of the great films of the era. In reality, they've been in production for about a decade. We just missed them last time when we landed in 1890. But now we have so many movies to catch up on. Let's start with The Astronomer's Dream from 1898. In this one, you can see that parts of the scene are just painted backdrops, but you have to remember that the world has been doing stage plays for centuries up until this point, so this really wasn't out of place. Another common thing was overacting expressions, which was another theater eminent. I will admit, one of the biggest things that is still used today are jump cuts. Then, they had no choice. Now it's a way to edit down a video to make them feel smoother. The same director, George Méliès, would go on to produce another moon-themed movie, one that's well known in the silent film realm, Le Voyage dans la Lune, or A Trip to the Moon. My favorite part of the movie was their depiction of space. Not only did it have clouds in space, but you also had clouds on the moon. Oh, and there goes those stage props again as the Earth just flies away. Now, let's look at a horror movie from 1906 called La Maison Ensorcelée. This has to be one of the first haunted house movies ever, as the French name suggests. This movie features stop-motion animation. At least those ghosts clean up after themselves. Those are great, but unless we bring back a whole movie theater, there's really not much to bring back from this decade. So I guess let's just go home. We made it back. But I guess this controls all of sound. But anyway, those were the silent movies of the era, and next time we're going to talk about those phonographs. And who needs that anymore? I'll see you next time.